How's everybody doing? Hope everyone's well. So this vehicle is a 2017 Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's got the 8-inch Uconnect radio. I want to say it's made by Panasonic, but it doesn't really matter. The complaint was the GPS was not accurate. This one was only off by about 50 yards. The arrow on the screen was pointing in the wrong direction, throwing the customer off. So first thing I checked was check for codes. A lot of times if you have a radio issue, maybe with the hardware, you'll have codes like U0, I want to say 141, basically a loss of communication with the radio. And, in this situation, I want to say that there was no codes. So at that point, I looked for technical service bulletins, I looked for star cases, stuff like that. Not sure if the independents have access to star cases, but that's why I'm a big fan of paying for the subscription to, manufacturer service libraries, because there's a lot of great information on there. So, rather than just immediately throw a radio at it, what I would recommend checking is check for software updates. Easiest way to do that on a Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram vehicle is going to be get your VIN number, put the 17-digit character VIN number in a website that you'll find on www.driveuconnect.com, and on driveuconnect.com you're going to do that under software updates on that webpage of their website, and that's going to actually bring up whether or not you have software updates or not for that radio. If you do have a software update, typically it's going to tell you what the fixes are. So if navigation and accuracy is one of them, obviously you're going to want to start there. So I checked, there was no software update. The radio was up to date. And at that point, I went further with it. I wanted to go into dealer mode. But before I did that, I actually clicked on navigation, bottom icon of the radio screen, and I looked at where am I and GPS information for the current position. And when I clicked on that, it brought up this screen here, which will tell you how many satellite dishes you have that are basically being used by your radio to figure out its global positioning. You need a minimum of 5. On the screen here, I've got a total of 12 GPS satellites that it's syncing with to figure out its location. So we're way above the 5 minimum. And then you look on the screen and it says on the radio screen, reliability high. So we know we don't have an issue with, satellites that are maybe out of order, not working in space, I guess, but that's never been an issue since I've been working on these. What can happen is you park your car for too long in the garage and it loses basically its positioning, possibly. Combine that with a weak battery and you go outside and it might take 20-30 minutes for your radio and antenna system in your car to figure out where it's at again. So you might be inaccurate if you park your car for long periods of time and the battery voltage drops too low. So just try driving the vehicle if you're an owner watching this, for maybe 30 minutes to an hour before you call your technician or your dealership. At that point, I have obviously good satellite receiving, and so that shouldn't be an issue. So then I want to move on in the video here. So next what I do, that's how I got to the GPS screen. Clicked on where am I, show GPS info, in case you're wondering how I got there on the screen. All right, next, I'm basically going to hold down the temperature up and down buttons that you see me pressing there, and at the same time the front defrost button on the right side of that control knob. They have to be pressed all at the same time. The vehicle has to be on. I'm doing that right now. That's going to put me in what's called a dealer mode. That dealer mode is going to get me to information like radio software level. It's also going to give me access to recover all the preset channels and modes before you replace the radio and put it on a USB stick. But what I'm looking at here is I want to look at connectivity information, which I'm going to get to in a sec here in the video. All right, under connectivity information, if your radio shows those numbers, great. There, and it is a Panasonic radio. It shows you right there who makes the radio and dealer mode there. So if the MSISDN number is blank, along with the ISI number, that's our ICCID number is also blank. So if those two are blank and don't have numbers on your screen of your radio, you need to replace the radio. There's a hardware issue that can't be fixed with the software update, and you need to order a new radio. And when you have those issues with that radio, with those two numbers missing, you're usually going to be way off, by like 50 to 100 miles minimum. Also, if the radio doesn't have enough satellite receivers or hasn't synced in a while, you're usually going to default to Texas or Canada. So keep that in mind if you're getting your car and it's showing Texas and you're in California, or if you're not in Canada, then you need to, try driving it for an hour or so to see if that helps. All right, and I think that's it. Have a good day.